tie together the processes and do an experiment of Flubber. Our outcomes, what I expect today is that you will be using the scientific method to explore the correlation and the differences between the ingredients as they come together, so borax and glue, and as they come together and make a new substance, that chemical reaction. There will be variations in recipes because you are the scientist. You have control over the water, the borax, and the glue. That will make a difference in the consistency of the product. A thinner product will be slime, a thicker product would be flubber. So you'll be able to discover the unique properties of what process you're doing. You'll understand the process of this chemical reaction because you're performing the experiment and watching it happen. You'll have a better understanding of the scientific method as you're going through the process and its outcomes. Borax and glue separately are two substances. As they combine, they make a new substance. This is a chemical reaction. Does anyone know what borax is? Have you seen this before in your homes? Yes? How have you used it in your house?
Wash clothes.
Okay. Anyone else?
Kills ants.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a good one. I've never tried that. That'd be great. So it's sodium borate. It's a white crystalline compound, mineral. They've ground it into powder format for what we're doing tonight. Other uses, water softener, preservative, fireproofing. And we're all familiar with glue, right? In school, we've used it for projects. It's a rubbery synthetic polymer, a thermoplastic, and it's known as a PVA, so it has a polyvinyl acetate. So, does anyone know what a polymer is? Well, here's an example of it. Yes. So a monomer is one, poly is many. So it's repeating groups, chains of molecules, specifically for our purpose, plastics and elastics. We stated that glue is an example. What is a thermoplastic? Glue is also an example of that. How are we going to see that today? Anyone know? It's part of our vocabulary over the last week. So I'll remind you that it's a polymer. When it is heated, it softens. When it is cooled, it hardens. Can you think of some examples of a polymer that changes with temperature?
Rubber?
Yes. Polyurethanes, rubbers, the paint on our roadways, the paint on our cars is an example. Rubber on our shoes, cell phone covers are great examples. All right, how about a chemical reaction? Does anyone know what a chemical reaction is? Can you repeat it to me?
Process substances chemically changed into a new substance.
Right, so we're going to take borax and glue, two separate substances, and we're going to combine them together to a new substance. Go ahead and change the slide for me. So today's the scientific method is a process of experimentation. We're used for exploration and to answer questions. Specifically, scientists use the scientific method to search for cause and effect, relationships in nature. And the conclusions are drawn by asking questions, formulating the guesses or hypotheses, creating, performing experiments, analyzing those results. So, can you repeat with me our processes? Step 1 is question. Step 2 is do the research. 3, construct hypothesis. 4, test the hypothesis by doing experiment. 5, analyze the data and draw conclusion. 6, report those results. Okay, before I turn you loose, the objectives, the students will conduct the experiment with Flubber. You'll do on the back here, or on the front, the top right will be a recipe for groups of 3. You're going to break into groups of 3 and go to the back table. Follow your recipe, and then on the back will be the scientific method mapped out for you. This is for you to utilize to kind of guide your thought processes. So you'll list the steps and your thought processes guide you. Because in the end, when the timer goes off, what I would like to hear from you is, did the experiment go as you had planned? Safety is a big thing with borax. It can be caustic. There are gloves on the back table. Do not eat it. You don't want to put your hands in it, put it next to your eyes. So at this point, this is what, on the recipe, it lists 3 to 6 tablespoons of borax. 3 tablespoons will be this thick. So it is up to you if you want to go a little thinner, a little thicker, but this is the consistency that you will have with 3 teaspoons. It's quite thick. Okay, so if you'll now break into groups of 3 and go ahead and have some fun. I'll check back with you in 2 minutes.
Oh wait.
Still feeling me? The hot water will be inside of the white pitcher. The cold water you'll be getting from the sinks. Well, if you look at your ingredient list, the cold water ingredients take up more space than the hot. So you'll use the big one for your cold and the small one for your hot. 2 processes.
Yeah, let's do an individual.
On your paper cup,
Let's do an individual. One cup of gluten and 1 cup. Yeah.
and it should be 4 ounces or half a cup. So it should
Open it.
But won't it get stuck in the cup? It might.
Yeah.
I'll get the cold water.
How are we doing over here?
I'm open over here. So put the cup in here, like glue in the cup.
Well, 4 ounces is half a cup, so I would, 2 is going to take 3 cups of those. So, since you're
Consider will exclude cold water.
You've got a mess to clean up.
That was part of the experiment.
Oh, like the cold water.
Apparently, one of these is 1 cup. So that's why they have
So you're following the group of 3 recipe, and then your step-by-step guide is right down here.
So we'll do the individual.
Well, because the individual will still make a lot
Oh, yeah.
without wasting all the
Okay, yeah, that's the large container, that's the small.
Any questions?
This is 1 cup.
We had trouble getting one open, huh?
Yeah, we need 3 cups. So that one right there is a person you can just put down here, and it has
Well, I think if you remember the 4 ounces is half a cup, so 8 ounces is a cup. So instead of having to measure, you're getting a total of 3 cups. So
this is just 1.
trying to scramble to get all of this was something. So next time I'm in, the NASCO has it by the gallon with the pump. And that would save a lot of the effort, I think, for them. You have 2 large ones? Yeah, go ahead. Yes.
Professor, I'm teacher. Are we doing 3 cups? Are we doing the group one or the
You're doing the group.
Oh, so the thing that is. Oh,
Yes. Yep.
right? Alright, cool.
We did the individual one.
That's fine. You want to do it, if you're just the two of you and you want to do it individually, that's fine.
We just started with whatever.
That's all right. End result is all the same, and just to keep in mind your thought process of the scientific method as you're going through it. What do you think it's going to turn out like?
Yes, can go ahead
What
and redo that while I empty
consistency?
out this whole thing. You can add the water.
Yeah, you want me to do it? Okay.
Yeah.
We need more. Hold on.
You want to? No, we need more. Yeah, plenty to go around. You all sharing the bun.
We need
And
to.
then
While you're
We're making
quarter.
purple
So
flubber.
half of the half cup.
to get that ready so that you can mix them
Half of
together.
half cup.
One's two teaspoons.
Perfect.
Yeah. For this team, over here, the group, if you'll have someone mixing up your hot solution as the other one's mixing the cold,
Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
Oh, right here. Oh, perfect.
Ah!
What color are we gonna make, guys? I'm super excited about this.
We're making, what colors do we have?
We have blue, red,
This looks so
yellow,
weird.
and green.
Either blue or red.
I can't.
Let's say yellow.
Is this supposed to happen? Okay, so what about the water?
Wait. Hot water.
Me, teacher.
I think. Wait.
Okay, where do I have cups? Hot water.
we have all kinds of things going on. If you're done with them, yes, please. There. We have a beautiful periwinkle blue down there. Ooh, nice. Now remember the borax, the chemical reaction, to keep an eye on what's happening. You're going from the rubbery substance and the liquid substance combining together. What do you think the borax is going to do?
Something. Maybe it'll come to life like the actual flubber. There you go.
There we go. There. Half a cup.
Scientist.
Add borax. Mixture to blue mixture mixable. Pour off excess water. Needing weed.
Okay.
That looks pretty color.
It's like lavender. People made theirs very bright.
This is like a watering, no?
Yeah, you just have to keep mixing it for a while. That doesn't look super gross.
Easily mix it. How much weight?
How are we doing on our mixing? The borax is dissolving, very good. And did you make a decision as a group how thick you're going to make it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not going to take very.
How are we doing?
Waiting for it to.
Now, the excess liquid in just a few moments can be poured off. In order to pick it up and handle it, you're going to want to put some gloves on and determine if this is the consistency you want. Is it turning out like you thought it would?
Blue mixture, borax
What is the borax?
I had the timer set for 9 minutes, would be a total of 16, and then to ask the last question, is that good? Okay. How are we doing here? Almost. Guys, we have about 2 minutes to wrap it up. Let's check in and see how we're all doing. You may want to start with a spoon.
Feel like lavender. Oh, the mixture.
Hey, this is what it's supposed to look like.
Very good.
Oh no, we messed. Yeah, we didn't mess up.
No, you guys didn't mess up with that.
I think we're going to ask the question back here while we're all together as groups. This group here, group 1, is it turning out pretty much like you thought it would?
Yeah.
Yeah, with our mistakes, but yeah.
Too much borax.
Too much borax, so how did that turn out for you? Too thick?
Thick.
All right. But it was it easy enough to follow? And
Yeah.
okay.
I like the blue.
Group 2, how are we doing here?
Good. Well, that's kind of how it looks.
All right, are we still stirring it?
Yeah.
And then have you made a decision whether you're adding more borax or if you're staying with that?
We're staying with this.
Staying with it? Is it turning out how you thought it would? Exactly. And how about the process of going through it? Any questions?
So you guys have to believe. If you believe, you can achieve. You achieve to something.
And the new stuff.
That was on camera.
Inspiring moments brought to you by those.
Oh yeah, so ours is something like what it's supposed to look.
So we did a good job, and they're just jealous.
Oh, don't
Very
we have
good.
to like take it out?
It's a little runnier, so you're caught in between a slime and a flubber. So one of two things, you could add more borax to thicken it up, or you could put your gloves on and kind of play with it and massage it, get the heat going, and it'll thicken up that way. So did it turn out how you thought it would? Good. And over here, what process did you skip? You had the cold step and the hot step.
What does it feel like?
Do you want to put my glove on?
Not really, no.
It's squishy.
Okay. Mixing the glue and cold water separate.
What is it doing? It's softening the water.
Oh, wow.
No, my kids would probably.
All right, class. It's time to clean up.
Okay, can I cut it?
Anytime you want to clean up.